Welcome into The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. Today I am joined in studio by 2016 champ Richard Jefferson, 2008 champ Kendrick Perkins. We are also joined remotely by 8-time All-Star, record 22 seasons played, future Hall of Famer Vince Carter. Our senior insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, is going to join us later. It's a packed show, people.
A lot going on.
But first, over in London, they do a special ceremony outside Buckingham Palace called the Changing of the Guard. To be honest, it's a bit overkill. It's not like we do some big whole fancy thing marking the moment the security guard standing out front of Target gets off his shift, but whatever, it's all good. Tourists in England love it, and hey, sometimes it is important to mark when a big change happens. Certainly, we are experiencing one right now in the NBA. After a decade of the finals, including either the Warriors or whatever team LeBron is playing for, we have 4 franchises left who have not been to the mountaintop in at least 50 years, if at all. And then there's the player side of things. For the first time in more than 70 years, according to Elias, half of the top 10 scorers in the playoffs are under 25. We've seen absolute magic from Devin Booker, John Morant, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, and of course, Trae Young, who took his show on the road last night and dazzled once again. It's worth noting that they aren't favored to win the Eastern Conference Finals, and yet you'd never know that watching the confidence that Trae plays with. Look at some of these shots. The Bucks kept daring Trae to shoot the mid-range, and so he kept taking him up on it.
Look at that. Like that's a layup. That's a layup.
Then we get to the third quarter, and well, let's listen to Marvin Reg for a minute here.
So how are they going to find an answer for this man right here? Oh, my goodness. All right. Oh, no, he didn't.
With a little shake of his shoulder, and hits the three.
No, he didn't.
Did.
Yes, he did. The man just flat out shimmied in someone else's building. With the game far from won yet, but it did not matter when Trae is feeling it. He is feeling it, and as he noted later, he was feeling it plenty there. Take a listen.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of time. And was kind of tired a little bit, so I got a little second to get a deep breath and knock it down.
I feel like we're thinking the same thing you guys are. It's like, wow, he just did that. It's like a lot of made that.
And I felt like I felt like, there was just, everybody was just so far out. I was like, wow, damn, nobody's around. Like, was it that bad? Because, yeah, it was like, wow.
It's wide open.
Amazing. Later in the huddle, Giannis tried to fire his guys up by demonstrating how disrespectful Trae had been. And it seemed to work as the Bucks surged to a 7-point lead with less than 5 minutes on the clock. But Atlanta has been coming back from behind all playoffs. This time, the Hawks went on a 16-6 run to pull ahead. And after the Bucks missed 2 3-pointers in the final 30 seconds, Atlanta had its Game 1 win. Here was Trae's stat line, by the way. 48 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. Now, look, it is absolutely possible Giannis and the Bucks will storm back in Game 2. They showed in the last series they have more heart than some give them credit for. Just like it's absolutely possible Paul George and the Clippers come back on Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and the rest of the young Suns tonight. But either way, it is clear that the new guard that has been storming through these NBA playoffs is here to stay. I'm not sure if Trae Young has one of those giant fuzzy hats, but I have no doubt if he wanted to, he could pull it off. He's pretty much been pulling off whatever else he wants to lately. And Vince, you know this Hawks team so well. Did that 48 from Trae Young change your outlook on whether the Hawks can actually win this series and become an NBA Finals team for the first time since the 50s?
It's changed my outlook for sure. And I'll tell you why. Is that they believe. They believe. It's like, okay, we're here. You know, I want to win, but let's see what happens. After the way the Bucks are playing defense, it changed my outlook because they believe. But here's the thing that I want to touch on. We watched him in Game 1 versus the Knicks, Game 1 versus Sixers. He was facilitating, laying the lane, see what's going on. They wouldn't allow him to have the free reign to just go down the lane and shake them haters off when he's shooting the three. But you see the difference in this series. They're letting him do whatever it is he wants. And the adjustment is going to be what? They can't stop him. Are you going to not play Brook Lopez? I don't know. But right now, they're proving they belong and they can play and they can compete in the NBA Finals. With that being said, what did Trae Young say? One down.
One down.
He
held up that one.
I'm about tired of
That's
Trae.
one down.
I'm about tired of Trae Young.
What, you're tired of him
I'm
being fabulous?
sick of this. No, because this is what.
You're tired of him winning?
No, yes, because I got to keep getting texts from people that kind of know basketball. And be like, is Trae Young really that good? Yes, he's that good. And somebody should tell the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Somebody should tell, like, you can't just sag off of him. And it's like same with Chris Paul. You're just going to give him that little floater. You're going to give him that mid-range shot. How many times? Look, when people show you who they are, believe them. He's shown you who they are. Bud, I love you. Bud, I had him in San Antonio. He's an Arizona guy. That is not going to work. A drop with Brook Lopez ain't going to work unless Brook Lopez is giving you 20, 22, and 7 on the other end. Like, you got to play with more small. You got to give him more pressure. He's telling you who they are. What does he say? He's like, I had a lot of time, so I thought I'd shimmy on you. That level of disrespect that's showing your defense and showing your players, like, I'm sick of Trae. I'm tired of answering texts about how good he is.
Well, I mean, when it comes down to me, I've been screaming Trae Young for the longest. I'm just saying, RJ, I actually picked him to beat Philly because he's a bona fide superstar. He's a 4-level scorer. He gets the job done. Now, what happened was that the Milwaukee Bucks showed up in their Louis slippers, polo top, and linen shorts because it's in June. Instead of dressing warm.
But their balls wasn't hot. They wasn't knocking down shots.
You have to dress warm when you're playing against ICE Trae. You have to strap up your boots. And what ended up happening was that, listen, they took the Atlanta Hawks for granted. The Bucks, they win that semifinals against KD and the Brooklyn Nets, and they were like, you know what? This is what we got to get over. We getting over this hump. It's cruise. It's easy selling. And what happened was they got punched in the mouth. You know this, RJ. You know this, Rachel, from being around. You cannot disrespect the basketball guards. The Milwaukee Bucks played horrible basketball. They was playing carefree. They was turning the ball over. This was not the same defense that I saw against the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, I mean, I will say this. The Bucks were in it. Right? They were in it. They were leading by 7 with 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
Our bar is so low for some of these teams. In it, you're